We're ready.
All right, let's do it.
So I am so excited to be sitting here filming with one of my dear friends. We've been friends for about 12 years now, and this is the inaugural episode of Legally Vegas.
Woo-hoo.
And I'm like, when we were talking about who should be our very first guest, you were the very first person that I thought of. And so everybody, this is my friend Samantha Martin. She is a brilliant trial lawyer and grew up in Las Vegas, which is very, very rare. She's been in Las Vegas since she was 5 years old. And so, Sam, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what it's like growing up in Vegas?
Sure. So, yeah, like you said, I moved here when I was 5. I was originally born in the north part of Texas, but I don't remember it well. Moved here in November of 1990, so I've done all of my schooling in Las Vegas. I only left to go to undergrad and law school. And then I came back about 12 years ago when you and I met. Growing up in Vegas is a trip. It's so unlike anywhere else to grow up. I think it's the best city. I remember doing birthday parties at hotels and casinos.
Like which one?
So back in the day, the MGM Grand used to have a theme park. I don't remember what it was called, but it's now where like the MGM Grand Signature Hotel is now. That used to be a theme park, and they had like a rapids ride and a roller coaster. And so one year, I think I was 12 or 13, I took like a group of like 15 girls, and we all did a birthday party there. And my parents like bought all of our tickets, and it was really awesome. I've done glamour shots at hotels and stuff before because my mom knew somebody who owned a salon, because that's normal, I guess. So this was when I was like 7. So a bunch of 7-year-olds are getting these like glamour shots with the hair.
At a casino.
Yeah, because that's what you did. I learned to do math and addition by playing blackjack, because apparently that's the best way to learn 8 plus 7.
And like, how old were you when you started playing blackjack?
I don't know. How old are you when you start doing addition? Like probably when I first moved here, like 6, 7. I mean, I didn't know like all the gambling, but I was like, oh yeah, you add, you're 8, you're 7, you're 15. Do you hit? Do you stay?
It's actually a really good way to learn addition. So I'm going to note that. I have a 7-month-old, and
absolutely,
that will be how we train her how to do
absolutely. Addition. I didn't know. I told you this earlier. So my husband is from Chicago. He now lives here, but I went to law school in Chicago. And when I went to Chicago, one of the first times that I was hanging out with his family, we went bowling. And I didn't know that bowling alleys were independent standalone buildings. Like they have their own buildings. That is just a bowling alley. Like there's nothing else in it.
And just for like context, I mean, here in Vegas, this was a super shock to me when I moved here, and I moved here in 2011. The bowling alleys are in casinos.
Yes.
Like you go to the casino, and that's where you go to the movie theater. That's where you go to the bowling alley. That's where you go to the arcade. Like little kids hang out at arcades in casinos.
Absolutely. Circus. I mean, there's a whole Circus hotel and casino. Again, did a birthday party there because that's what you do. They have a whole midway where there's circus games, and they used to have like acrobatics. It's interesting. I didn't know what last call was. When I went to college, my college boyfriend at the time, I remember they were moving last call from either midnight to 1 or 1 to 2 a.m. And it was a big deal. I went to Arizona State. Everybody was very excited. And I distinctly remember asking my boyfriend, like, so what is this last call you speak of? He's like, it's when they stop serving alcohol. Why would you do that? That's a terrible idea.
Like a foreign concept.
Yeah, like what? You stop? Why? It's like, they don't in Vegas? I'm like, no.
Seems like a bad business decision.
Thank you. That's what I said. I was like, why would you do that? If you stop serving, then you're no longer making money.
Yeah.
If you keep serving, you make more money. I can buy alcohol at 4 a.m. from my Walgreens. Why are you stopping? So it's been an interesting place to grow up. It's been an interesting city to see grow. I remember, like I said, I left, went to 10 years away for undergrad and law school, and then practicing in Chicago. And when I left, nobody went to Fremont Street. The only reason you would go to Fremont Street is if you were trying to buy drugs,
right?
Like hardcore drugs. And when I moved back, the firm that I was at, some of the people were like, hey, it's like, welcome to the firm. Let's go grab a drink. We're going to go to Fremont Street.
Are you insane?
I was like, are you trying to kill me? Like, what are we doing wrong? And So it's been fascinating to see that grow. It's been awesome to see restaurants outside of casinos. The only time we would go out to eat was to the Strip, the Golden Nugget, which then you just went to the Golden Nugget and then turned home very quickly. So it's been a cool city. It's been a cool city to be from, to grow up in, and then also to see grow and change in the last, 12 years.
It's been, so you've been back in Vegas since 2013?
I think, yes.
And so I moved here just maybe like a year and a half before you came back. And I agree with you. It's been, just downtown from then versus now is completely different. It was such a shock to me. I remember meeting up with some friends for the first time, and there was an OAR concert poolside at the Red Rock Casino. And the text came over from these friends that I met. They were all Zappos girls, and they said, we're going to meet at the Book. And I was like, I don't know what that means.
Oh, the sports book.
The sports book, yes.
The sports book.
So every casino I learned has a sports book, and that's like a very popular, it's just easy to say we're going to meet at the Book because they all have one. And so that was like new to me. I didn't know that or appreciate that. But yeah, the amount of like concerts and everything that there is to do. So now you have been, you originally practiced in Chicago, and now, but you're also licensed in Illinois and in Texas, but also in Nevada here. And you've been a trial lawyer for, many years, like 15 years or more at this point.
Oh gosh. Yeah, because my first license was Illinois, and I was sworn in October of 2010. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. 15 years, more than 15 years.
Oh my God.
You just realized that.
I just got really old all of a sudden.
No, you're still young to me. It's okay.
It's 15 years.
And so you, I have like a very specific case that's near and dear to my heart. I did a TikTok video about this case in July of 2024. And it was very popular on TikTok, very popular on Instagram. I got a ton of comments and like DMs about this case. And so it is this Brunner versus Sterling case. And it's interesting because, so I'll give a little bit of a background for everybody. So back in July of 2024, like I said, I did a TikTok about this case. And at that point, it had been filed in the state of Arkansas. And there was this guy named Fred Brunner who is like actually a really successful businessman. And he filed this lawsuit against this woman named Melanie Sterling and claiming that she was a dancer. They met at a club in 2014, I believe. And at that point in time, he was still married. He didn't file for his divorce until December of 2014. And, the relationship apparently progresses. They purchase a home, which Mr. Brunner claims it was all his money. But then the home was very conveniently, placed in her name only, and then immediately then transferred into her own separate trust. And supposedly they had some sort of agreement in place that if ever the relationship were to end and they were to break up, that they were supposed to sell the house and move on. Now, ultimately, when I posted that, like I said, it was filed in Arkansas and it was dismissed out of there for jurisdictional reasons. And so then it was refiled here in Las Vegas in the Clark County 8th Judicial District Court in Nevada, which is our state level court. And the litigation's ongoing now, and it is so juicy. And so I wanted to bring you on today, and I thought we could talk about that case because it's, we're filming on December 4th of 2025 as our inaugural episode. And I thought, what better case than man sues his dancer girlfriend over a property dispute?
I feel like the entire case could be summed up by the T-Pain song, I'm in love with a stripper.
That's what happened.
Just putting it out there. I feel like that could be the entire case summary. End of scene. And it's fantastic. I love this case. It's interesting to see the different positions of people because I know when we were talking about it, I was like, bro, come on. Like, what are you doing? And you were like, but no.
Like, I think it's a love story.
I don't.
Sometimes love stories end.
I think it was a business deal and he got gypped. Sorry, I do.
So I wanted to be precise on this. So they meet in or around June of 2014. Sterling met Mr. Brunner in Las Vegas, and they met, of course, in a nightclub. And we're not sure which nightclub.
That was going to be my question. Like, which one?
Which one? I know. I'm very curious, too. Now, we know from the pleadings, from what Mr. Brunner himself has pled, that he was still married at the time. We also know from the pleadings that apparently he didn't file for his divorce until December of 2014. So this was about 6 months prior to him filing for divorce. They meet in a nightclub. And, at some point in time, like obviously they like, I don't know, exchange phone numbers, but they stay in touch because the relationship continues to grow. And we know that it grows really rapidly because in the pleadings, in the both the complaint as well as in, I believe, in the motion to dismiss, there's all sorts of reference to the text messages between the two of them. And I don't know. When I read it, I think this is a relationship that's growing.
I have questions. Like, okay, so this man goes into this strip club. He's already married. That's not a shock. I'm sure that that happens more often than people would like to admit. Sure, it happens. But he leaves this nightclub, the strip club, and he's gotten this dancer's number, maybe that night or maybe in the nights that follow. And at some point, he got her real name. Like, so I don't know. I feel like
but doesn't that scream real relationship? I think it does.
Okay. No.
Okay, so this is some of the text messages that are shared. So, for example, on November 24th, 2014, so this is again after they meet in June, before he even files for divorce, Ms. Sterling sent a text message to Mr. Brunner stating, "I promise to show you what real love is, and you're with me for life."
Yeah, because she was like, "You're with me for life. I'm taking you for every penny that you have. You are not going to get rid of me." Yeah, absolutely. You're with me for life.
And then on December 6, 2014, Mr. Brunner sent a text message to Ms. Sterling. I love the way that this is written into the complaint because it's like really poor grammar. I just want to point that out. But where he says that he did not want anyone but you, and then there's like a space, and then a bunch of exclamation points, and then it says ever, and then a bunch more exclamation points. No one else ever. And she responds, "Music to my ears. I'm so happy you, Mr. Brunner, are stuck with me forever."
Yes, because this woman is like, absolutely. You don't want anyone else with me. Music to my ears. I now have a bankroll. I can now have this man who obviously she figured out either from text messages or what he was wearing or the amount of money he was spending at the club that he has money. There's no way. And so she goes, "Yes, you're stuck with me forever. Music to my ears, because now I'm set. I have a bankroll. Thanks, Daddy," aka Sugar Daddy.
So fast forward, I mean, we know from the pleadings, like they start spending a ton of time together. I mean, not just like Mr. Brunner coming here and spending time with her in Vegas, but also she's flying out to Arkansas, which is where he's from. And she's spending all sorts of time like with him and with his family. And we should like dig into that a little bit. But they go on trips all over the world together and allegedly, according to the state, luxurious resorts. I want to know what those are.
Yeah, I want to know what the resorts are. Listen, the woman committed.
I know.
She committed to
whatever this was.
The business deal. She committed to her role. I think she should personally win an Oscar for Best Actress. I mean, she had a 10-year role that she sold.
Well,
quite convincingly, apparently.
So then at some point in time, I think it was in 2019, in September of 2019, there is this house that's purchased. Now, Vegas, like so many other places, I mean, the like housing market in 2019 is so different than what it is right now. The house was purchased for, I believe, just over $700,000 in September of 2019. That house, I believe, like last summer when we were filming originally, I had looked it up and it was worth well over $1 million at that point. I'm sure that it's about the same now. And so let's just call it a house for $7-something that's probably now worth closer to $1 million. And when they purchase the house is purchased allegedly only with Mr. Brunner's money, but is then put solely into her name only. And then a few days after the close of the house and the property where it's only in her name, she transfers it to her separate property and personal property trust.
Right.
Which, like, by the way, is normal. And if you're out there listening and you haven't put your house in a trust, like, that's what normal, like, you should do that. It protects you. It protects your property. So it's not, to me personally, like as a lawyer especially, it's not a super red flag to me that she put the house into a trust. That is normal behavior.
Absolutely. And I think it's one thing that when we were reading these and we were reading the pleadings, there was so Mr. Brunner, the plaintiff in this case, right, is this very fourth generation, extremely successful businessman who travels the world, who travels like promoting his company, promoting his business. And so I don't understand why in all of these proceedings and all these pleadings, he's making such a big deal about the fact that she moved this house into a trust. Like that is 101 if you own your house, and especially if you have wealth or anything like that. So I don't understand why he is so like aghast. Oh my, she moved it into a trust. To me, that's a red herring. Like, obviously.
Like let's just talk about him a little bit. So
I love it.
This guy, he is, like Samantha said, I mean, he's fourth generation owner of this business called Brunner and Lay.
Mm-hmm.
And it is which is actually like kind of funny now that I think about it, Brunner and Lay. But anyway, so he's fourth generation owner of this company. And he is, this was like a company, it was a small blacksmith company that was founded in like the late 1800s. And now my understanding is they, just from, Googling and reading their website, is that they actually get a lot of government contracts and they make parts for like military grade weapons and military grade equipment. And so this is a very like valuable company that he has been leading since the 1980s. Mm-hmm. He is not a young man. He has successfully led this company through the last 40 years.
Right.
And very successfully so. He's, in other words, like what I'm trying to say, he's not stupid.
Yeah, he can't be naive to business dealings and the way of the world. It's not like he's some 25, 30-year-old trust fund kid who's never been out in the world and doesn't know how people work. He's not, he wasn't born yesterday. Like, right. So that is my issue with this case. And my one thing, and I'm like, dude, you should have known better. You're old enough, which we don't know how old he is. We kind of looked and estimated if he's running the company for 40 years, let's say he took it over when he was, I don't know, maybe in his 30s. So he's 70-ish,
yeah.
We'll call it, give or take. You're old enough to know better. You're old enough to know better. And the fact that when we'll get into some of the things that Sterling, some of the ways she conned more money out of him, if you will, the fact that he didn't look at those and think, this is a red flag. I have no sympathy. I don't. Maybe that makes me cruel and I have no sympathy for the man. Like, you should have known better. But
I don't have any sympathy for him either. I mean, especially like you own your own law firm. Like I have been in a leadership position at this law firm with a couple of business partners for a long time, and it's a tremendous amount of work, and it's a tremendous amount of oversight. You're constantly looking at everything, and like you have to have some business sense to even own a business, and he's been doing it very successfully for 40 years. And so I'm pretty skeptical of that part. And I just think it's important that we at least like address, like, this is not a simpleton. This is a very smart man.
Well, and what I love is one of the things that was in the pleadings, it was in the opposition to the motion to dismiss, which we'll get into, but allegedly, right, this house was purchased with the understanding that if they broke up, they were going to sell it. And he bought the house, he furnished it, he
paid for renovations,
renovated it, whole 9 yards, with the, quote, understanding, end quote, that they were going to sell it if they broke up. You are a savvy businessman that negotiates billion-dollar contracts for the government. Where's the contract?
Yeah.
Where's the contract that says this?
Right.
In a text message? Is there a third party that was in the room? Like, come on.
I mean, through this complaint, like, we've read all of this. There's tons of references to text messages, but what I didn't ever see was the text message or the written agreement that says this is what's going to happen when we break up. So, like, as far as I can tell, I mean, at least it wasn't produced by them. I am not sure that it actually exists. So,
because I don't think it actually happened.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. So throughout the original complaint, so this is going to be, I'm referencing to the verified complaint that was filed in Las Vegas in Clark County District Court on July 15th of 2025. So this is not the Arkansas case. This is the one that was filed here. And so on one page of the complaint, we learned that over the course of relationship that Mr. Brunner sent Ms. Sterling checks totaling more than $2.1 million. Now that's in addition, of course, to buying the house, to paying for all of the renovations. I believe the utilities in the home were placed in his name. Also allegedly paid for like tons of credit card balances, plastic surgery or cosmetic procedures, all sorts of different stuff, vacations, everything. And I mean, it's a significant amount of money, so I understand why he's upset, but...
Let's talk about the credit card receipts, though, that she has him pay for. This is what I'm saying, where this guy Yeah, come on, man. You should have known better. So one of the things is instead of sending him the credit card, like, the end of the month, you get a statement showing every single charge. Yeah. Instead of sending that, she would provide him with like screenshots of like handwritten, like
numbers.
My statement is $4,000.
And then please pay me.
Yeah, please pay me.
Yes.
Like, what did you spend that money on?
And again, that's the part as a business owner and a leader of a big business that I have a problem with is like, we review credit card statements all the time. And as a CEO, I sign off on them or like I review them. I mean, that's like part of my job duties despite having a CFO just to double check, right, as a measure of security. And I'm sure you do the same thing. Like it's not crazy for him to have asked, hey, maybe can I actually see like the full invoice? Because the whole thing comes down to apparently, according to Mr. Brunner, allegedly a lot of these credit card bills were racked up from trips that she was taking with a significant other. That was not Mr. Brunner. Right. And that's where everything gets really messy really quickly.
Which I was just thinking, I'm like, okay, so 10-year relationship, right? I think is what they had. So besides the house, is it $2.1 million just for the credit card bills? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, if you divide that down by 10 years, it's
really not that much.
It's like, thank you. Okay, I wasn't going to be the one to say it, but I was like, it's not that, it sounds really tacky, but it's $200,000 a year. If she's this high flying, there's got to be, I think that there's probably more, but this is all he's willing to admit to. Yeah. Because I think this whole case, and this is what I said to you earlier, this whole case is he finally found out that he was getting played after he fell in love with a stripper while he was still married. Okay. And he's mad. He's like, oh my, he's embarrassed what it is.
I think that's what it comes down to too. So we know at some point, I mean, he there's reference in the pleadings that he brought her home and she met his family. Oh. And I have look, this is a guess. You and I have both you've lived in Vegas a lot longer than me, but you and I have both lived in Vegas for a long time. If I had to guess / be a betting person, and I am.
I don't know it's true, but it's true.
I would venture to say that she's probably younger than his kids. What do you think? Yeah, probably. I mean, that's my guess.
Either younger or close enough in age that it's
uncomfortable,
extremely uncomfortable. Yes. And so his son but a couple of years ago got into the company. Yep. And so you and I were thinking his son is probably also like, Dad, like, come on.
Like, Dad, you went to Vegas and you met her where?
Yeah, and you are now in love with her? What? And
okay, so that brings me back to the house. The reason why, I just remember this.
Okay.
The reason why the house is only in her name. Do you remember reading that?
Oh.
It's only in her name because she was scared that if something happened to him, that the house, that she would potentially lose this home because the kids would fight her for it.
Yes, they should.
Which 100% brings me back to, I don't think the kids were approving of the relationship.
Absolutely not.
There's a reason she was scared of that.
Right. And because as a smart businesswoman, which I will posit that she's the only smart business person in this entire situation, as a smart businesswoman, she wanted to protect her assets.
I actually think Miss Sterling at this point might be able to run Brunner and Lay better than Mr. Brunner.
I think she should actually take over and be like Brunner, Lay, and Sterling.
I maybe when she wins Brunner, this litigation and she gets her attorney's fees and costs back, that might happen.
Yes, because her attorney, James Jimerson, is a very
let's talk about that. I mean, this
very
is
good attorney.
So Miss Sterling hired really a phenomenal law firm in town. Jim Jimerson is a fierce lawyer who's been doing this a very long time. I believe the case is primarily being handled by his son, who's also a phenomenal lawyer. And so I don't know if he goes by Jim Jimerson, but we're going to call him James Jimerson, but of the Jimerson law firm. And so he filed this motion to dismiss. Now, we, in getting ready for this, we saw that the order denying the motion to dismiss was actually filed today at 11:59 a.m. So we know that it was denied, but it's just the start. There's going to be a lot of discovery. There's going to be a lot more motion work on this case. So we might bring you back in the future and talk about it.
We're absolutely going to have to do in a couple of months. We're going to be like, and we're back, part 2. of the stripper case.
Okay, so in one of the things that was interesting in the original complaint is there are all of these pictures of Miss Sterling. Miss Sterling, by the way, you're very beautiful, and she's with who is alleged to be her significant other, and he is also the significant other is also named as a defendant in the case. And I don't want to butcher the pronunciation of his name, but I believe it's Shanta Cartwright.
I think so, yeah.
And so there's all these photos that are posted on social media of Miss Sterling with Mr. Cartwright, and there's all these like allegations within the complaint that that when Miss Sterling was supposedly texting Mr. Brunner and saying how much she missed him or whatever it is that she was doing, that it was untrue, and he has now corroborated that, or at least his lawyer has, because I'm not sure that he's good at the internet. He's corroborated it with all these like social media posts, which like, and by the way, these are posts from like 2018, so it just begs the question of like,
how did you
what were you doing? Yeah.
How did you not
I mean, she's like all over the internet with this guy. They clearly are in a relationship together. They're clearly like spending tons of time together, including with his family. And I don't quite know how like all this existed on the internet for that many years and he just didn't notice, because like he bought the house after these.
Right. Oh, what we should have done is we should have looked her up online and seen if we could have found all this. What we should have done in hindsight.
I don't know. That might have been.
I don't know.
These are posted as Faye Bell, which I did wonder if that was her dancer name. I don't know.
But like, I'm wondering, so if you look on page 10 of 29.
And this is of the complaint?
Yeah, of the complaint, sorry. And it talks about paragraph 59 about how posted on Cartwright's social media showing that Sterling was in Cartwright in Miami. So if you look at the photos, because again, they are...
yeah, and I'll let these guys zoom in on these photos. So mine are unfortunately in black and white because we pulled the pleadings, but they're out there. Maybe we can drop a link where you guys can access all of these.
Absolutely. Yeah. But so that looks, you're better at this than I am, but I think that looks like Instagram and it says like 15 weeks ago. So did they pin it to their story? Like, is it just there for the world? Like, it's not Snapchat, I don't think. I don't know. I'm 40. I don't do the internet. I also don't do the internet.
To me, this looks like Instagram stories, but I'm like you. I don't Snapchat. So it's possible that it is Snapchat and I just don't know. But it looks like Instagram stories
But
to
then
me.
Doesn't Snapchat stuff go away? I don't know. I don't Snapchat.
I don't know how it works. So we're geriatric millennials now. So we don't.
Oh, no, I hate that term. But we are geriatric millennials.
So
me so even more than you.
I mean, yeah, you're right, because some of these, I mean, this is a filing that's filed in July of this year, and these are referencing Instagram stories from December 6th through 10th of 2023, for example. So, like, somebody had these screenshots saved, and I don't know why, like, it took this long to get there, but for example, on this one, photographs posted on Mr. Cartwright's social media show that Sterling was in fact with Cartwright in Miami, Florida during the week of December 6th through the 10th of 2023, drinking and dining at expensive restaurants and bars to celebrate Mr. Cartwright's birthday. And that's at the same time, we know from the paragraph before that she's sending him all these text messages saying that she can't wait to see him, so on and so forth.
So here's my question, and maybe you know, but why now? Why now? Like, did he finally find out? How did he find out? Like, did we ever find that out?
So I don't know what prompted it, but my understanding is like at some point in time, I think at least from some of the pleadings, what I can gather is that Miss Sterling broke up with Mr. Brunner. And at that point, there's an allegation in some of the pleadings that Mr. Brunner already knew about Mr. Cartwright, the boyfriend, and despite already knowing about him, really begged Miss Sterling to get back together with Mr. Brunner. And Miss Sterling was a hard no, a hard pass on that. And so that's what then developed into this big thing where then the lawsuits filed, of course, in Arkansas about the property, because at that point the relationship is over and my understanding is refuses to then sell the property. So the motion to dismiss was really telling, and there was so much really good stuff in there. Mr. Jimerson, so James Jimerson starts with this really fantastic quote. Oh, and if you've got that in front of you.
I didn't realize James Jimerson, the son, and I must have taken the bar at the same time because our bar numbers are around the same time.
Yeah, almost exactly, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of raising kids in Vegas, my 7-month-old is here with my husband.
She's so cute.
So if you hear a little baby talk, she is our audience for this inaugural podcast episode.
I love it.
I'm just doing things to make her mom proud.
Absolutely. Make her proud of her mom, for sure.
So Mr. Jimerson starts his motion to dismiss with this quote: "We know that as a matter of human experience, goods, services, and financial advances are frequently rendered between two people, not for, and I can never say this word,
remuneration.
Thank you. But because they value each other's company or because they find it caring, convenient, or rewarding thing to do." And so, and this was a case from 1998 out of New York. And then right on the first page, like in the first part of his memorandum of points and authority, when he talks about this motion to dismiss, he said, "Plaintiff," which is Mr. Brunner, "is suing his ex-girlfriend, Melanie Sterling, because she broke up with him."
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. That's all that it comes down to.
Yeah.
And
he wants his money back.
Exactly. And so it says in here, Mr. Brunner claims that because he spent money on Sterling and did not like the way the relationship ended, that he should then get his money back. And Mr. Jimerson then has on one single line, one word, nonsense.
My favorite, nonsense.
Yes. And it says that the parties then met in 2024 and their relationship ended for good. I'm sorry, the parties met in 2014 and their relationship ended for good in 2024. That the whole time Ms. Sterling continued to live here in Nevada, Mr. Brunner continued to live in Arkansas, and he goes through all sorts of interesting things. Now, we know that all of this comes over this dispute of property and money, and obviously Mr. Brunner's claiming that he never intended to gift this to Miss Sterling because that would mean he's not entitled to anything because it's a gift, but that it was some sort of joint property despite the fact that he didn't put it in his own name. It was meant to be joint property that they would sell and split the proceeds at the end. Now, here's what I think is so interesting on page 4 of this motion to dismiss. We learn a little bit about Mr. Brunner's divorce from the wife that he was married to at the time that he met Miss Sterling. So if you want to dig into that part, Sam.
So I love this. They're talking about Mr. Brunner goes to this strip club while he's still married and gets into this relationship. But then also 4 paragraphs in, it's talking about Mr. Brunner. This is the same plaintiff who tried unsuccessfully in his divorce to argue that the pieces of expensive jewelry he gave his now ex-wife were not gifts, but instead were investments subject to equal division. This man just does, I don't know. He's
just really bad at this.
He's just really bad at this.
He's a really bad gift giver.
Yeah, or something
So, and then it says, now plaintiff, Mr. Brunner's arguing that the money he gave Sterling and the house bought and deeded in her name only, they were not gifts at all, but they should be divided after the fact. And again, throughout all of this, I don't see any single thing in here that there was any kind of written agreement that this was not intended as a gift.
Or even, in Nevada, right? You can do contract law if it's, there's a meeting of the minds and it's, you have something and somebody acts in accordance. That's not even pled in here. Basic common law contract law is nowhere to be found in the complaint. They never even allege that there was a contract. Of all of these things, it's breach of fiduciary duty, breach of this, breach of that. Not a single one of the claims that I can recall, and I'll go back and look, is breach of contract. So it makes me wonder, again, he got duped and he's now mad and wants his house back, which I get it, man. Real estate's booming in Vegas. I'd want my house back and want to sell it too, but
I think though that he, I get the idea that based on how great of a businessman he allegedly is, that it's not about the money for him. Do you think he actually wants his house back, which by the way, I don't think he ever lived in. Do you think he wants his house back and he wants the money, or do you think he just doesn't want Miss Sterling to have the house?
He doesn't want her to have the house. Right. I think he would be content with anybody else having it. And and he wants to save face. More than anything, he wants to save face. I think, again, we're assuming. I don't know what's true, but it's true. Yeah. He wants to save face. He's embarrassed. I
think he's also heartbroken because, again, I think he loved her at least.
I do. Oh, I absolutely. I think that one of them was in a real relationship. I do not think it was Miss Sterling. Again, I could be wrong. I think he loved her very, very much.
As part of the motion to dismiss that was filed by Mr. Jimerson's firm, they include, as one of the exhibits, it's Exhibit C, they include the second amended complaint, and that was for the case that was filed in Washington County, Arkansas. And there's a lot more details in that one as far as the alleged fraud and I don't know. I to me, like this, just it reads like this was filed on November 21st, which is actually my birthday, 2024, and it goes through in a lot more detail about, I would say, like how wronged Mr. Brunner feels. So, for example,
oh wait, but let's
Yes.
start with page 2 with the factual background. Oh. It's like setting up a story. I just saw this at the time. I'm still annoyed that it doesn't give us the name of the gentleman's club, but. Whatever. It's like at the time.
Do you have a guess?
Do
you have a guess?
I'm going to bet Spearmint Rhino.
That was going to be my guess too.
Because that's where it's one of the largest. And it's where everybody,
Like if you're a wealthy man, a very wealthy man who's down on his luck because of his impending separation.
Right. You're not going to Palomino.
That's fair.
Yeah. No, you're going to Sapphire or you're going to Spearmint Rhino.
Yeah, so, I think so.
At the time of around June 2014, plaintiff was in Las Vegas and, given his emotional distress, I love this, decided to go to a gentleman's club to smoke a cigar and have a few cocktails.
I mean, there are cigar bars in Vegas. Yeah. I don't know why you had to go to the gentleman's club, but it's okay. I mean, actually, we know why you had to go to the gentleman's club.
Yeah, it was like there's one at Paris, there's one in Tivoli.
Yeah.
They may not have exotic dancers, but they have cigars. So let's see. Upon entering, plaintiff sat alone at his own table. I feel like there should be a violin.
Lit his cigar.
And
began ordering drinks. Like, as in he just wanted to be left alone.
Yeah, right. You're not going, yeah, okay, sure. And then Sterling was working as a dancer at said gentleman's club and quickly locked onto plaintiff because she is a smart, savvy businesswoman and knew this guy is going to pay me.
Or Mr. Brunner flagged her over.
Probably. She did what all such adult dancers presumably do in their profession, and that was looking to prioritize the patrons from which she thought she could make the most money that night. Oh, she noticed that plaintiff was sitting alone, wearing nice clothing, an expensive watch, and likely in a vulnerable state given his lack of company. I wish that all of this detail would have been in the Nevada complaint. This is so interesting. Oh, she approached him, grabbed him by the hand, and led him back for a private dance.
And so that says she knew from experience that this was the best type of customer to take advantage of.
Or the one who's going to spend the most money. But also, like, I highly doubt that she just went over, grabbed his hand, and was like, come on, big boy, let's go.
Like he was so unwilling.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. She did make a significant amount of money from plaintiff that night. I want to know how much. I don't know. I would like to know what his initial investment in this love affair was.
Oh, now we know. The two exchanged phone numbers that night.
Okay.
So that night, presumably, he knows her real name, which is a big deal.
Yes. Okay.
And they began having a text conversation that very night. He has all these like assumptions in here about what Sterling intended and really paints her out to be this like manipulative person. And I think that's, I mean, obviously that's all conjecture and allegations. I don't know how Mr. Brunner could possibly know, for example, Sterling contrived a plan to form a make-believe, exclusive, romantic relationship with plaintiff with the ultimate goal to defraud him out of as much money as possible for her own personal gain. I don't know how Miss Sterling could have possibly known in the summer of 2014 when she meets a, by the way, married man, that she's going to somehow get this windfall of a home in 5 years. I mean, that is some serious commitment to like this alleged fraud, to like put up with this guy for that long, this significantly older guy for a very long time, to fly in, to meet his family, to like be a part of his world. Yeah. I mean, that's like a long con that she's planning. That is what he's alleging. And that seems a little far-fetched for me.
Yeah, I think it goes to what you were saying earlier, is you can tell how really and truly aggrieved he is. And like, but so how in the Vegas complaint, right, it says that he sent her $2.1 million. In this one, it says over $3 million. So
which is it, Mr. Brunner?
Right. I have questions. I think it's probably more than both of them, and he's still not willing to admit
all of it.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. On page 5, the very first paragraph, that she made multiple visits and acting as a stepmother figure to plaintiff's children. Ma'am, you are the same age or very close
Probably
in age to the son,
close.
and a grandmother figure to plaintiff's grandchildren.
Now, again, we're going to drop a link into, with all these filings. And if you guys look at the the complaint, the one that was filed in Nevada, there's all sorts of photos of her. So that part is especially hilarious.
And I have no
like,
idea.
What a babe of a grandmother.
She's hot.
Yes.
Like,
she's really hot.
Very good looking. She's hot. But like, I'm sorry. And we don't know how old she is. We don't know how old he is. We don't know how old the son is. But I'm going to bet that the son is closer in age to this woman who is allegedly acting like his, quote, stepmother. Get out of here. Okay, that's ridiculous. Okay.
So
I love this. This Arkansas complaint is fantastic.
The Arkansas complaint has so many more. And obviously this isn't filed by the same lawyer who filed the one in Nevada. And so Nevada complaints are usually pretty void of a lot of details. So I don't know if there's different like complaint filing guidelines or requirements in the civil code for Arkansas. There could be.
Because we're pretty much a notice pleading jurisdiction. I wonder if Arkansas is, because I know when I practiced in Illinois, it was a fact pleading. So our complaints were typically a lot more detailed, whereas Vegas and Nevada, you just have to put the other side on notice, and that's it. Pretty much it. So
so I'm guessing that's why there's like all of these more factual allegations. In the Arkansas complaint in a lot more detail. Like, for example, on page 11, it alleges in paragraph 83 that Ms. Sterling would tell other friends that plaintiff, Mr. Brunner, was her quote-unquote sugar daddy and that he knew she was seeing other people and consented to such. Just so, like, we're clear, I actually think that's probably, well, I don't know about the sugar daddy part, but I can't imagine that he was just completely unaware that she was seeing other people. I have a hard time believing that.
I have a hard time believing that as well. I mean, you're not together all the time. I don't know. That just, and if he really truly believed that she was only seeing him in this monogamous, committed relationship, I have some serious questions as to the running of this firm, Brunner and Lay, and, might want to,
like maybe like the son should.
Yeah, maybe the son should talk to dad.
Maybe it's time to be a fifth generation run business.
Right. If he, I have a beach in Alaska to sell this man.
I mean, this is not legal advice for.
Not legal advice.
Fifth generation Brunner, but.
Yeah, I do not suggest that you actually do this.
Now,
however, I'd be curious.
Now all of this, like, so there was this motion to dismiss that was filed. We got the order today, and I'll be honest, I was really shocked that Judge Holthus, who's a phenomenal judge, denied the motion to dismiss. I think Sam and I both said, like, well, it's probably like good that we're not judges, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's also probably good that we will never be, because we're doing this podcast, we'll never be allowed anywhere near the jury on this case, because we would be very bad jurors for Mr. Brunner. But the motion to dismiss was denied, and Mr. Brunner was given leave to be able to file an amended complaint, and he's allowed to, like, I don't know, allege all these additional things. And I'm surprised by it, but like, this is not going away anytime soon.
So it was ordered that he can file his amended complaint. And I will be honest, I'm not 100% sure what this means in this section, but like asserting claims for relief for breach of the duties flowing from a confidential relationship. What confidential relation? Like, that is what I'm confused. So I am very excited for when we revisit this entire case and podcast after the amended complaint has been filed and some discovery has been done, because there's going to be depositions.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait. There's going to be written discovery.
And we can't wait to get our hands on as many of those as possible.
Oh my gosh.
So hopefully, Mr. Jimerson and Ms. Sterling, if you're listening, we personally would really like if you would do some like depositions and then file another motion to dismiss and maybe like attach as exhibits.
As many depositions.
Yeah, all the deposition testimony. That would be fantastic, so that we can talk about it some
more.
Or
I am available of counsel for anything you need, so that I can also be involved in this case, because I am fascinated. I think it's just the most interesting. Sometimes being a lawyer is fun, right? You get to deal with like stuff like this, like really fun cases where I'm just like, okay.
I feel like this is, this is like in my opinion, like a story as old as time, right? But is also really uniquely Vegas. And having been here for a long time, I've worked with dancers and represented dancers for my entire Vegas legal career. And I can tell you, like, one thing that is always surprising when I tell other people about working with dancers, and by the way, having friends that are dancers, they're like just like you and I, like they're just normal people, and that's the profession that they're choosing. And there are actually, and I know you know this, there's a lot of lawyers in town who dance their way through law school. There are a lot of professionals in town that dance their way through those degrees. And so these are like, I love my dancer friends. I love the dancers that I have represented over the years. These are just regular people just doing their job. And I don't know, I have a hard time believing Mr. Brunner was just so gullible and so, quite frankly, like dumb that he would fall into this. And so I'm curious what's going to happen from here.
I think you said it best. I don't think there's a better legally Vegas case out there right now.
I don't think so. I mean, I have a lot of things to say about a lot of other legal things. Like I really want to break down F1. I have a lot to say about that.
I have a lot to say about F1.
That's in the future.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
All right. Well, so Sam, if anybody wants to follow you on like social media, where should they find you?
So
we know not on Snapchat.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not on. The only way I do Snapchat is my daughter does the funny faces filter. Yeah. That's it. You can find me on Instagram, Vino Vegas Lawyer. Okay. Because I am a lawyer and I live in Vegas and I really like wine. So,
and if anybody wanted to like email you a question, if you want.
So yeah, the best way to get in touch with me would be Samantha at Martin, MARTIN, injury, INJURY, law, LV.com, or you can direct message me on Vino Vegas Lawyer, or you can also follow Martin Injury Law on Instagram.
And we are all still really disappointed that Samantha didn't name her law firm Martin Injury Law Firm.
MILF Law.
MILF Law. That's, in my opinion, still what it should be. So.
Listen, it is still out there. I've looked, MILF Law is still available on Instagram and on the interwebs. So maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
That's
the next firm name.
Yeah.
I love it.
So,
and you can follow me on social media. I'm primarily on TikTok and Instagram. It's at jrb.esq. Please don't email me. I don't check them. So please don't do that. But if you want to shoot me a DM, you certainly can. If you're weird, I will block you. And thank you so much for being here, Sam.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Jackie.
Yes.